Before the video starts, I have to mention that English isn't my first language, so please excuse me if I made any language mistake. As all players who have played this game over 5 years, me and my friend think the design of Phoenix and Monk have problems, so we got some advices on the balance changes to them. First of all, on Phoenix, we think the roles Phoenix plays and Mega Minion plays are the same, which is a melee flying unit. Phoenix is like an alternative to Mega Minion, and it can almost totally replace Mega Minion. Although I also use Phoenix a lot, we still don't want to see a card like Heal, which only few people want to use. So we must do something to save Mega Minion from joblessness. My friend provided a method to make them different. That is, to enhance the feature of Phoenix, Revival. Maybe we could make it very weak but easy to revive and be able to revive infinitely many times. In that case, it really died only if its egg were destroyed, and it were not a threat, yet were super annoying and kept dealing or tanking damage if you didn't destroy its egg, and then those damage would accumulate to a considerable amount. Next, on Monk. I think Monk is actually not strong even when it costs 4 elixir. Let me explain. At first, when he was just released, he was incredibly strong, so Supercell nerfed him by increasing his ability cooldown time by 2 seconds. That's barely different though, he's still broken. Then, they nerfed him by increasing his cost to 5 elixir, and now his usage has dropped to only 1%. So no one used the popular card which could be seen in almost any kind of deck only because of 1 more elixir cost? That doesn't make sense. Then what's the problem? In my opinion, the reason is his extreme inconsistency, which means sometimes he's super strong and can turn things around, while most of the time he's useless or it's easy to counter him or it's hard to make good use of him. First, if Monk encounters Elixir Golem or Golem Beatdown or P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Span, his ability will be a trash, as there are merely 1 or 2 cards in these decks whose attacks can be reflected by Monk. Second, you can prevent your opponent's Monk from reflecting or tanking damage by simply using Tornado or the Log to him when he's about to cross the bridge. And then he will fall behind because he can't move during his ability. Third, to deflect opponent's spell, let's say a fireball, we have to predict it very early since there's a delay of 2 seconds after we tap the ability button. It turns out that only Rocket and Goblin Barrel are slow enough for Monk to deflect. Moreover, he's a champion card. You can only cycle out another Monk after the previous Monk dies, so we can't organize a cycle with Monk. In conclusion, it's difficult to find a right timing or chance to make good use of him. If you are so lucky that your opponent has a lot of projectile cards, Monk will be a threat, or even the most valuable card of the match. However, once you are not that lucky, he may even be the least valuable card. These problems have existed since he was released, not because he was nerfed. Therefore, I think the biggest point that caused his low usage is just that players have learned how to counter him by exploiting Monk's weaknesses. How about not using his ability? Maybe that was doable in the past. However, now he costs 5 elixir. It's not worth placing him only for his regular attacks and pushbacks. He appears to be clumsy. Hence, our goal is to make him more consistent and keep the function of his ability the same, which is protecting other units. My friend has, again, provided a method to rework him. Since this one is a bit complicated, I'm gonna list the stats in detail. Disclaimer, we don't know if the following stats are balanced or not. We can't test them after all. Red color denotes that the stats are different from current ones. He became more consistent because he reduced damage from any attack and the range of the protection is bigger. Under the protection of 40% of damage reduction, Zap can't kill spear goblins, arrows can't kill minions, and lightning can't kill some ranged damage units like Musketeer, Witch, and Wizards. His tanking ability remained the same, that is, 80% of damage reduction stayed. He could move during his ability, so he could go with the push. And 50% of speed reduction made him tend to protect range damage units rather than tanks. Keep in mind that we could still let him fall behind with Tornado or the Log. His elixir costs were changed back to 4. Since there are too many melee mini tanks like Knight, Valkyrie, Golden Knight, and Skeleton King, my friend changed Monk's range from melee to 3 in order to differ from them, and also decreased some health to keep the balance. To be simpler and more consistent, my friend made him push back an enemy in 1 attack instead of 3. 240 damage can one-shot a shield. To make him push back enemies not too frequently, and also make his DPS low, my friend made his hit speed 1.8 seconds. In that case, he will obviously weaker than Bowler without the ability, which is reasonable. We think ideal champion cards are not worth their elixir costs, but can perform miracles when they use their abilities. Finally, in addition, I think Supercell can create a new speed called a little fast to apply to Mighty Miner to buff him. Like a elixir blob gives us 0.5 elixir. It's a compromise between 1 and 0 elixir. Why don't we make another compromise between fast and medium? That's the end of the video. What's your opinion? Do you agree with us or you have a better idea? Leave the comment down below. Let's discuss it.